And I would love for you to share with the listeners a little bit more about, give us that overview of like
Yeah.
how can we use our cycle to support our work and our business. But I just want to say that like I think it's almost like when we have certain information and we can integrate it, that's
Hmm.
the biggest thing,
Hmm.
right? Like
Hmm.
I am such a learner. I love learning new information, but sometimes I have to check myself. Okay, I'm learning. What am I integrating? What am I
Yeah.
applying? Like, I can read and memorize things, which I used to love doing in school, but like, is it actually helping me move the needle and am I applying
Hmm.
it in my life? But yeah, around the cycle stuff, I feel like it just will it gives women permission almost to
Yeah.
be like, guess what? You can hit your biggest goals. You can have huge impact in this world, and you actually don't have to do it from a place of foot on the gas the whole time.
Yeah.
So can you
Yeah.
share a little bit more about
Yeah.
in general? And I know like for women who like are loving this conversation, want to learn more, I'll let Renee share a little bit too about how she's got a book coming out. So like if
Yeah.
you just want to go all in on this, there's that opportunity too. But can you give us that
Yeah.
overview, Renee?
For sure. I think like just to kind of go back and kind of give the like the foundation, like I
Yes.
said, I'm a medical like person. And it's sometimes like in the medical space, I feel very, very woo. Like I feel like when I'm there at the hospital, I feel like an outsider in the medical space of like how woo and energetic kind of minded I am. And then when I'm in the woo medical or the woo energetic space, I'm like, okay, I feel like a little outsider because I want a little bit more science here. Like I
Yes.
want some of the background. So like that's me. But anyway, so to go back to this like medical space, men have testosterone as their like primary hormone, and testosterone functions in a 24-hour rhythm. So it starts really high generally in the morning, and they have up and down rhythms. Like we actually are very cyclical in just human beings in general. So like our menstrual cycle is not the only one. I'm just going to put it out there, but like men have these cycles and rhythms in the day.
But
And
theirs
so
follow kind of that 24-hour cycle because of their primary hormone.
yes. And
Okay.
then they go to bed at night. They wake up the next morning. They've got a fresh dose of testosterone. So
Okay.
they function in a very daily sort of rhythm. So habits like consistency, doing the same thing every day, like that all works really well for men. But you'll see some of their shift and change happen within the day. Maybe in the morning, they feel really pumped. They feel really great. They're confident. Whatever, they get to the end of the day, they come home, they sit on the toilet for an hour, and you're like, how the hell does it take you that long to poop? Right. Like, so you'll see those changes of those dips. Maybe they get irritable in the evening. They're like laying on the couch. Like I get so frustrated. I'm like, dude, I've been going all day long and you're just sitting on the couch watching football while I'm in here making dinner and doing dishes. Like, come on. But it's like that's their low point, right?
Yeah.
So that's how men function. Women have estrogen and progesterone that functions differently throughout the entire month.
Okay.
So in the
Like the
front,
dosage release is different in the body. Like, or like, like the production of it.
yes. So
Okay.
like so on our menstrual phase, all of our hormones are as low as they will be through the whole
Okay.
month. And then right after the menstrual phase, estrogen starts to pick up. Estrogen is that main hormone in the front half of the month. And estrogen has that feeling of like, I feel good. I'm ready to hit the ground. I'm feeling really confident. It's kind of a very similar feeling to testosterone.
Okay.
Um, type of energy. We have testosterone too, but like estrogen is that feeling for us, right?
The primary driver right
Yeah,
after we have our menstrual cycle.
yes. So if
Okay.
you've ever had that, like you're like just dragging on your period, and then you're like, I'm ready. I'm like ready to work out. I'm ready to eat clean. I'm ready to hit like do all these big projects. And like you just feel like all of a sudden you've just got this big burst of energy. That's where that estrogen picks up or kicks in. So
Gotcha.
then estrogen continues to climb until you reach ovulation. And then once you hit ovulation, it drops. So estrogen drops off, and then we have progesterone take over. And progesterone kicks in, and progesterone feels so different than estrogen.
Interesting.
Progesterone has more of this like, I want to pull back. You might feel a little bit more moody. You might feel a little bit more relaxed in the sense of like you want to relax. You don't want to push quite as hard. You might get more easily irritable and snappy. It just feels so different. And so when we look at where women are throughout the entire month, it is very different. So, like how you feel on day 7 versus day 14 versus day 21. Like you're going to have a different level of that cocktail between estrogen and progesterone. And where you fall in that is going to determine how your brain functions. It's going to determine how much energy you have. It's going to determine how hard you can push in your workouts. It's going to determine what you want to eat. It's going to determine how much sleep you need. Like it literally changes everything
Wow.
when we look at where you are in the cycle. So what we want to do is know, okay, this is, and like this is science backed now too, like not like the
Yeah.
research that's coming out now with MRIs showing how our brain functions and changes throughout the month is that like different parts of our brain are actually more active at different phases. So
Wow.
when we look at like, I talk a lot about like that phase when you're right around ovulation. I call it the connect phase because you are like glowing and magnetic and radiant and like you feel the most confident. You feel the most like ready to be out there and talking and doing recordings and like you like, but the science now is showing like you actually, your face actually changes symmetry. Like you become physiologically like more beautiful during that phase.
Around
You,
the ovulation.
yes.